can't believe I'm actually finally filming this. So I'm probably filming this at least like 2 months before this would ever maybe see YouTube. I am finally doing a full try on and makeup test for our elopement, which is in a little less than a month. It's like right around the corner. Honestly, all things considered, I should have done this earlier. But to be fair, I've been testing out little things here and there, like what foundations I want to wear. And I've been testing out concealers and seeing which concealers, you know, work best throughout a full day. So in my brain, I have an idea of like, I want to wear this palette and I want to wear this foundation and this concealer. But I've never done it all together in like a full test. And of course, I've got a white robe on and still wearing a black bra because I literally, I don't own anything white. I bought this robe because it's literally the same robe I have in my bathroom, but black, and I use it every day, and I love it. So I just grabbed one in white specifically for this, so I could actually like test and try things on without the worry of staining my actual dress that I'm wearing for the elopement. And I had to go out and buy like white shorts and white underwear and a white bra because I literally don't own anything white. If you can tell from the background, I like black clothes. Black is my happy color, and I'm not wearing white for the elopement just because it's like that weird purity culture thing. I just wanted, that's probably the one time I could see myself wearing a white dress. And I specifically wanted to buy a white dress so then I could like later on like cut it shorter and dye it black. And then like I have my wedding dress, but it's like this new thing that I got to turn it into. So anyway, I got so far off the topic. Where were we? So yes, this is my first full actual wedding test. So I have all the products. I believe those are really not going to change unless something really crazy happens during this wear test. But we're just going to go ahead and get started with primer, I think. So I've got the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Liquid Primer, and I want to wear this everywhere except for like here, like this kind of quadrant over here, because that's the only place I've really been breaking out lately. And I'm scraping the bottom of this, the Poreless Putty Primer, the acne fighting one. I just placed a gigantic Ulta haul, and that video will probably go up before this one because I had like $400 of Ulta points and I was waiting, and I really wanted to do like a huge drugstore haul because I really have not been buying a whole lot of drugstore makeup lately unless it's something like super new, like those e.l.f. beauty wands. So I wanted that $400 to really do like go to a huge drugstore haul. So I just split it into 2 orders. So that video is probably already up. So I'll throw that up in the cards if you're interested. And in that haul, I bought a repurchase of this primer because it's like literally one of the best primers. It's just a primer it's got the putty texture that I love that works really great at like filling in pores, but it's got extra salicylic acid in it, so it actually does help with acne breakouts as long as your acne reacts well to salicylic acid. The biggest problem I've been having like over these last few weeks of testing so far has just been finding a primer, foundation, and SPF combination that doesn't pill. I've noticed so many times I've been testing trying to find a good go-to SPF. I found that it just pills terribly with either my skincare or my primers or the foundation that goes on top of it. So far I've had a really good luck with both of those e.l.f. primers, so I'm hoping it goes well today. But that's also why we're doing this test. Alright, so I'm going to start out with putting foundation like on this top part, because what I want to do is put concealer on and then not set it, leave it pretty dewy throughout the day, but I cannot do that before I do my eyes. And I've tested this out a few times, and I really like the way that it looks if I just like do my forehead first and then do my eyes and then work my way down. It sounds a little silly, but it'll work. So I finally picked up a different shade of the Kindness Vegan Dinner Good Apple Serum Foundation. I have shade 12. So I previously picked up 2 shades, like shade 8 and shade 18. And both of those together, like mixed together, match me. But one was way too light and one was way too dark. So I literally split the difference. Shade 12 was like right in the middle of the 2 of them. So I'm hoping this is a decent shade match for me. It looks slightly dark. I just hope this doesn't oxidize, because if this doesn't oxidize, it could work. You know, a good way to see whether or not it oxidizes is once I'm done with my eyes and we go in and do the foundation on the rest of my face, we could see how it matches. I'm going to smooth that out with a sponge. Also, when I pick out makeup for this, I'm not worried about either getting minis or making sure the bottles are lightweight or anything, because we're going to be within driving distance for wherever we're having our elopement ceremony. And I'm going to be very vague about that just until, I know this is coming out after the fact, but you never know. blend it out. It looks really nice. Okay, so let's do brows. I'm going to use the Kosas Air Brow. I don't know if this is the exact product. I might buy a new one because this one is kind of old and I took out the stopper so I could get the rest of the product out. But just to have it be like neat, because it does get a little gunky. I love the product, but I have had this for a while and it is drying out a little bit. So I might pick up a new one of this before the actual day. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to do like a Sephora trip at some point in the next few weeks. Okay, and that just tints brows. It doesn't set them. So I'm going to use my favorite brow gel, the Got2b brow gel. And this is actually a brand new bottle. For eye primer, I'm using the Urban Decay Primer Potion in Sin. And in full honesty, I might not use this. I want to use a primer potion, but the original primer potion that I have is at the point where I had to cut it open to get all the stuff out. And I don't want to travel with that one just because I know it might like explode. Even if just we throw it in the car, there's a good chance it might explode all over all my other stuff, and I don't want to deal with that. So I might pick up another one of those as well. You know, I'm gonna start a list of what I need to like run to Sephora to pick up, because this primer potion, it's slightly like pinky tinted, and I don't know how that's gonna react with the shadows I want to use for the eyeshadow look. So just to err on the side of caution, I might just go for the original one instead of Sin. Now I like thought about all my eyeshadow palettes and like what look I specifically really wanted to do, and I kept coming back to the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. There was a tutorial that was posted by Thrifty Beauty a few years ago, and she did a pumpkin spice look, and it really used a lot of like, of course, the browns and the orange shade in this palette, and the shade Luscious, which is this shade right here, and it's the most beautiful shade, and like that's the look that's been stuck in my head. So I feel like that's what we're gonna do. I'm going to start with the shade Puree and kind of start building out my crease and setting a little bit of a base down. You know, I really wish I could go back and check the original tutorial, but unfortunately Paige from Thrifty Beauty did private the majority of her videos, and that tutorial is kind of lost to the ether. But I really, really love that look. And I mentioned it a few times on my channel. I wonder if I gotta check to see maybe if there was once where I was following the tutorial, I might have mentioned it. Because if I did, I do want to pull that up and revisit it. Because I always got like the most beautiful look following that tutorial. And I've also been going back and forth on whether or not I want to do like a wing kind of shape, or if I want to have like my rounded eyeshadow. I'm thinking just keeping it rounded. Keeping it soft and like a soft glam. I think that's what I'm going to go with. Because also it'll be easier, I think, to do the day of, morning of, than having to make sure I also bring like a card or tape or makeup wipes with me to make sure I get that right. Next, I'm going to go in with Summer Yum and kind of also blend this in all over. Give me that nice warm orange shade. Next, I'm going to take the shade Caramelized and use that to start deepening out this outer V. And here's where it may start to get a little messy. Alright, before I go in with Luscious on the lid, I'm going to take a little bit of the NYX Glitter Glue just on the back of my hand. Look how pretty that is. I love this shade so much. I completely used it up in the first palette of this that I already own. It's completely panned. I had to buy like another one off of Poshmark because, you know, they discontinued this palette. How sad is that? There we go. Now to do the other eyeball. Oh, that feels so good. I just got this new fan off of Amazon to be my makeup fan, and it's like the best fan ever. All right, that's looking really good. I'm like still on the fence about whether or not I'm gonna do eyeliner. I also don't think I'm gonna do lashes. I kind of want this to be like soft glam, but not too much. Because also I'm trying to think of like the morning of, I don't want to be like rushed or feel like super anxious about whether or not my eyeliner or my lashes are gonna turn out good. So I think I might stick with this for now, but we'll see once we finish the face. I might go into the liner to see how it looks. Okay, so let's do the rest of my face with foundation. And looking at it, I think it did oxidize like a slight bit. So let's see how it looks on the rest of the face. I'm like really hoping I don't get this on the white. Yeah, you can see the difference between it freshly applied. It does oxidize a tiny bit. So the foundation looks beautiful because I love this formula. I know how it works. but I might need to go a shade lighter or mix it. And I was trying to avoid mixing because I didn't want to bring multiple foundations and have to mix them the day of. But I don't know. I'll leave this on for the rest of the day and see if it oxidizes any further, because I might be able to get away with it if I just bring it down my neck. But we'll see. Because also I'm going to powder, so maybe the powder will help. Alright, so for concealer, I'm using the Armani Luminous Silk Concealer in shade 3.75. And I guess if worse came to worse, I could always use the concealer to brighten up the face. Looking cute, looking cute. Ah, okay. So next, let's get to powdering. So I want to be very strategic with where I'm powdering. I really want to leave the forehead and, I was going to say around the mouth, but I think I'm going to really powder around the mouth as well. I really want to leave basically the forehead and the under eyes unpowdered, because that definitely sits better, especially with this foundation. It looks better throughout a full day. But I do want to powder basically my cheeks and around my mouth, just to A, have it set, and B, a bit more long lasting throughout the day. Also, I don't want to sweat off my makeup at my elopement, so I need something that's gonna like stay in place, especially because we're gonna be outside. It's gonna be, I mean, it'll be fall, but it'll still be outside. So I'm gonna set it first with loose powder. I have the Maybelline Fit Me loose powder in shade 5, and then I have some pressed powders I'm gonna go in with. But I'm gonna take a Laura Mercier poof and set around my cheeks, because I want to go in with powder, blush, bronzer, contour. So I want to make sure it's like really set. I guess that's one thing about white, is that when you have like loose powder like this, it doesn't show up as badly as it does like on black. Like my bra is just covered in white powder. Okay, and I'm going back and forth. I don't know if I should powder the tip of my nose. I think I should, because like if I touch it or if something happens and then there's just no makeup on the tip of my nose, it's not going to look fantastic in photos, so we're going to do that. Alright, so next I have 2 pressed powders. One is like almost done, I just want to finish it up. I have the Sexy Mama translucent powder from the Balm, and then I have this powder from Pure. I think I'm mainly just going to use for the actual day the Sexy Mama powder, because I have a whole nother like brand new one in my drawer, so I'll probably just bring that one. And I know that powder works really good for me. And I do think for longevity, I'll probably like powder all the way down my neck. All right, and we are powdered. Everything is dry and set. We're ready to go in with blush, bronzer, contour. So the bronzer slash contour that I want to use is from Tarte. So I've got this really kind of orangey one from the second Clay Play palette, but my favorite tone is from this original Clay Play palette. It's that shade in the middle. So I'm gonna grab that, because these powders are A, very forgiving and very blendable, and B, very travel friendly. So let's do some contouring. Though I don't want to go like super heavy on the blush and the bronzer. I kind of want like the eyes and like the highlight, the way that I'm picturing it, to really be kind of like the stars of the show. And you see, like, it looked a little harsh, but it really blends out nicely. And you know what? I think I do want to contour, like, down here. But I gotta make sure it blends very well, because that would show up so stark on camera as if you don't have contour blended out well. It's another reason why I really want to use these shades from Tarte. They just blend out so nicely. They're very, very forgiving. And every now and then I'm like stopping and like pulling the white like this so I could see what it looks like, because your makeup looks so different, like depending on what you're wearing, especially for someone who wears black all the time. So seeing me in like white and seeing how the makeup is going to look against the white is going to make a big difference. So I kind of want to like just make sure I remember to stop, take a look at it, see if there's anything I need to like adjust. But I think it's looking pretty good so far. Now for blush, I could not help myself. I fell in love with these loose blushes from Givenchy like as soon as I got them. And this is the Coral shade, and I think a coral blush would just really tie this together, you know? Now I gotta be careful, I think, with blush, because if I get blush on this white, you'd see it. Oh, and this blush is so heavily scented, but it's so pretty. And I think that matches the eye look really nicely. Gonna do something new. Now, I'll be honest, I've gone back and forth with my highlighter choice, because I want something bright. I do love a bright highlight, But I don't know, there are like certain highlights that I don't want to wear on my wedding day. Does that make sense? Like I don't want to wear an ABH highlight on my wedding day. Like, so anyway, I chose this Physicians Formula Shimmer Brick, and I think this will be nice. It's honestly one of my oldest pieces of makeup. It's one of the most nostalgic pieces of makeup that I own. And I think this will look nice. Okay, not as bright as like I was picturing in my mind. So, should I get another one? Okay, I'm back and I have 3 different options. I have this Dior Highlight Quad. I have this Lunatic Cosmetic Labs Here Lies Your Face highlighter palette. And I have this Milani highlight. So, let me try the Lunatic Cosmetic Labs one first, because I remember really loving this highlight. Okay. Okay, that's okay. Let's try the next one. So let me do on this side, I'll do the Dior. Ooh, okay. I kind of like how the Dior looks. It's like a little glittery. Like I could see glitter particles, but that might be what I'm going for here, you know? And it does look really pretty. Okay. I'm leaning towards the Dior. And then just for testing. Oh, the Milani is really pretty. And you know, day of, I probably won't do a highlight at the tip of my nose, but force a habit. Alright, honestly, I think the Dior wins. I think that looks really pretty. Let me hold off until we do setting spray so I can see what both sides look like completely set, but I am leaning more towards that Dior highlight. Alright, before we go with the setting spray, let's finish the eyes. I'm going to do the lower lash line. First, I'm going to take, I don't know whether I should do a white in the waterline or a nude. I think nude might look nice. So let me do a nude on this side. Yeah, I like how that looks. Okay, I'm going to go with the nude. This is the Tarte Fake Awake highlighter. Not highlighter. Jesus, I cannot say words now. The Tarte Fake Awake eyeliner. And it's just like a really pinky pale nude shade. That's supposed to make you look more awake. But I think with this kind of soft glam look, it looks really nice. Because I feel like the white would be a bit too stark. So I will stick with the nude. And then I'm just going to take the 2 brown shades I use up here. Just bring them onto the lower lash line. Start out with Caramelized. And hug that pretty close. Man, I can't get over how much I love the way that this palette smells. It just smells so nice. And then now for the inner corner highlight, I'm debating whether to use just White Peach, the white shade, or the Dior highlight. Because I do like matching my face highlight to my inner corner highlight. But I don't think I've tried using that Dior as an inner corner highlight before. So let's try that out. It doesn't really pop. Let me try using White Peach and then putting the Dior on top. Yeah, that gives me a nice inner corner pop. Yeah, that's the way to go. So using White Peach as a base and then going in with the Dior. And then if you build it up a little bit. There we go. This is looking so good so far. Okay, so now it's time to soak my face in setting spray. So this base is looking really, really good. Let me just close this so we can see what it looks like with the white. It looks so cute. I do feel a little bit better about the shade of the foundation. I think it does work really pretty good as long as I powder and I have everything else on top of it, because I do think it's like just a tiny bit too dark, but I think I can make it work. But who knows, if I do go into Sephora to pick up a couple of other things like the brow gel, I might just swatch and see if any of the other shades is the closest shade match, because I love this foundation formula so much that if I just had like a perfect shade match, it would make my life. But if not, I can work with it. Now let's just do mascara real quick, and then we'll talk about the lips. Love this mascara. Gotta use the Essence Lash Princess, and it looks good. Yeah, I don't think I need falsies. I honestly, I don't want to deal with wearing falsies on the day of. I think this looks perfectly fine. Now for lips. The day of, I'm probably just going to be wearing like chapstick because number one, I've barely been wearing lip products ever since COVID. I really only wear lipstick now to like film. But the other thing is that Alvin has told me that he doesn't like it when I wear lipstick and I kiss him because it feels weird on his lips. And as someone whose lips touch my lips, that's a totally valid opinion to have. So when I know I'm going to be kissing him, I don't wear anything on my lips, which, you know, for the most part, I've barely been wearing anything. But just for now, I'm going to throw a lip gloss on to kind of simulate what I guess a chapstick would look like. And there we have it, the first full makeup test down. In general, I'm really happy with the look. I think I might be able to go a little bit darker with the brows. Going back and forth on that. I kind of wanted them to be a bit more fluffy, a bit more natural, so using a gel as opposed to a pomade I thought would work better, but I might be going with a powder, but we'll see. I might test that again later on. Love the eyeliner, love the eye look. I think this is probably the look that I'm going to be doing. It's one of my favorites. It's soft glam. It's just fabulous. I love the blush. I think it ties in really, really nicely. The concealer looks amazing. I love this concealer. I am just so tickled pink with this. And like looking at the highlighters now, I do like the Dior a lot better. I think it looks subtle and smooth, but there's a glow. And that's exactly what I wanted. So I'm going to be going with the Dior. And I think that's about it. It's giving me just a little bit of, you know, definition with the bronzer contour. But I didn't want to go too heavy on the bronzer contour anyway. I kind of wanted to embrace my base and just focus more on like highlight, eyes, blush. So that's it for this first test. I don't know what the rest of this video is going to look like, if I'm going to like actually show you doing my makeup the day of, or if I'm going to do a couple more tests, but we'll see. Okay, and we are back for trial number 2. This is, I think, the last full trial I'm gonna do while here at the house. Once we're like at the hotel, the day before, I'll probably do like a final trial of like the full face of makeup when we go to dinner for that night. But this is gonna be the last one where I'm prepping, and I've got basically everything the same except for a couple of things that I finally got shade matched for, and I'm swapping out. So first off, I'm trying this with the KVD primer today. I'm using the KVD foundation, so I thought maybe I should try it with the primer. This is the Lock It Pore Refining Primer, and I did put it on actually like 20 minutes ago. I really wanted to let it like sink into my skin, so I'm leaving it on, and we'll see how it performs under the foundation today. A few days ago, I finally went into Sephora. I actually saw 2 people getting arrested for shoplifting, so they must have done something really bad, because normally they don't arrest you like city cops. They weren't like mall cops were arresting people. But anyway, I got shade matched for the KVD Good Apple Serum foundation, and I love this foundation so much, but the shades are kind of a hot mess. Let me show you all the ones that I have. So I have 4 different shades. This should be the thumbnail, right? But they all looked better online. Like these swatches, like they're fake swatches online, as I have to believe. So I bought basically every shade between 8 and 18, and the shade that works the best for me is shade 10. And then, you know what, just for your own edification and for my own edification, I'm gonna swatch all of these shades on my face. So let's start with the darkest and make our way down. So this is shade 18. And I will say the foundation does oxidize a tad after you put it on, and when I do the full face today, you'll see that. But this was too dark for me to begin with. Next we have shade 12, and you can tell there's like a distinct undertone change here. But shade 12, it looks okay. It's like a tad too dark. It looks okay when you first apply it though. After it oxidizes though, it's too dark on me. Moving on for the shade that's way too light. This is shade 8, and I'm putting it all the way over here. This is such an outlier, because even I swatched the other lighter shades in the line. This is significantly brighter. I don't know why shade number 8 is like the lightest shade, but that's way too bright and way too yellow. Now for the shade that best matches me, this is shade 10. And I have to say, this does look very similar to the MAC N4, which is also my closest MAC shade match. So just one more time, these are swatches of the KVD Good Apple Serum Foundation, the formula of which I love, but I could not shade match me for the life of me until I went in store. This is shade 8, this is shade 18, this is shade 12, and this is shade 10. And my closest shade match is shade 10. Alright, so nothing on like the top half of my face is gonna change with this trial, other than the fact that I did refresh my hair. My hair is nice and blue-black again. I also dyed my brows, so they are looking a little bit more filled in than normal. But I'm gonna go ahead and do the top half of my foundation, my brows, my eyeshadow, and then we'll come back for the bottom half of my face. I will be listening to a podcast while doing this, so excuse the headphones. Okay, I'm almost done with my eyes, and one thing I do want to test out is this Undone liner. I found this from Taylor Wynn, and she said it's like the finest black liner, and I just want like the hintiest hint of definition on my upper lash line. It doesn't make a huge difference, but I think I'll see it better when I have mascara on. I have to say the like super fine tip makes it super quick and easy to apply. And while I'm not gonna do a full wing, I think having a little flick towards the end would look nice. Yeah. So you can see the difference here in what it looks like the shade when I first apply it versus how it oxidizes a tiny bit on the forehead. This is the same foundation, same shade, about 15 minutes difference. So I did my face powder. I used this Givenchy loose powder still, but I did switch up the pressed powder that I use because I just picked up this Physicians Formula Butter Glow pressed powder, and it smells just like the butter bronzer. It smells so good, but it looks really, really nice. So I hope this holds up for the rest of the day. So I've got that. I did the contour, the same contour as the first one. Now it's blush where I'm thinking of changing things up because I really wanted a nice corally blush. And the Givenchy, I don't know, I feel like while it's a nice experience, I'm thinking about maybe something else. So I've got these two drugstore options. I got the Milani Baked Bronze or Blush in the shade Coralina, and this. I don't know if it'd be too much with the eye look, but I'm thinking about it. And then I've also got this CoverGirl blush palette. I'm thinking of the shade in the middle. So I'm gonna try the blush from CoverGirl first. So let me just go in here and see how this looks. Because like in my mind, I'm picturing, I really want like a nice orange toned blush. I got like nothing on the brush there. Okay, there we go. This blush needs a dense brush. Let's try this one. It's very subtle. Do I want subtle? You know what? I'm gonna try the Milani one on top. Let's do some testing. I'm also not feeling the Milani. You know what? I might just scratch that idea and go back to the Givenchy. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the Givenchy. I shouldn't have doubted myself. Last for the face, I do have my highlighting palette from Dior. I'm using the same palette, but I did figure something out. So I wasn't getting, I just threw my brush. I wasn't getting as much payoff as I saw other influencers getting when they use this palette, but I realized like it wasn't necessarily an overspray, but the imprint of the highlighter shades themselves was preventing me from getting like full pigment from the highlighter. So I just went in with my finger and did this to each one of the shades, and it seems like that like hard kind of top layer came off, and now they're like beautiful pigmented shades. So I'm going to be doing this kind of orangey shade first, and I'm going to go on top with this like light nudie kind of pearl, and then that's exactly what I'm looking for. Yeah, and those together look good. Yep. And then I'm not going to do highlighter on my Cupid's bow or my nose. I kind of just want to keep it on the cheeks, especially for the photography. So the eyes are almost done. I'm just going to go in with my face highlight for my inner corner highlight. And I did a little experiment on my lower lash line about whether or not I want to keep all matte shades down here or use a shimmer. I used a shimmer down here, and like it just really accentuates my fine lines. So day of, I'm definitely going to do just the mattes on the lower lash line and not try to throw a shimmer in there. Alright, and trial number 2 is done. Other than like the way that I did the testing on the lower lash line and how it looks messy and the fact that I got a little bit of mascara down here, I am really happy with how this looks. I love the base. Like my skin looks incredible. So I'm very, very happy with that. I love the eye look. I do think the liner makes a difference. So I will bring that liner and I will wear that liner with this eye look and mascara. And then I do like the subtle nude eyeliner in the waterline. I think that also just really ties everything together. I'm really happy. Now, for the actual ceremony, I'm not going to wear anything on my lips other than like chapstick. But that night we are going to go out to dinner, and I wanted to wear something a little extra. So I've got Clinique Black Honey here. I got it as a free sample with my last Ulta order, and I just kind of want to see how it looks here. What do you think? I think it's slightly too plummy for this look. I feel like I might need to go for like a more nudie kind of shade. I don't know. Let me see what else I got. So I also have these lip stains from YSL that are so pretty. I mean, I like it with the look, but I don't know if I'm feeling it like as a bridal lip look. Should I just go with red lipstick? Would that be too much? You know what? That's why we're doing this trial. Let's try red lipstick. See how it looks. Now, the real question is liquid lipstick or a bullet lipstick? Let's try the bullet first. This is from Besame. Ooh, that is dry. Alright, I would definitely need a lip liner for this. I don't know, something about the romance of having a Besame lipstick appeals to me. But I don't know if I'm really happy with how high maintenance this would be throughout the night. I mean, it would just be for dinner. I don't know, let me pull this off and we'll try a liquid lipstick. So I'm trying the Stila All Day liquid lipstick. I definitely had to overline because the Besame, I did do a little out of the line. But this one, I don't hate. Oh no, it's giving like Miranda Sings. Yeah, we're not gonna do that. You know what, I might just go ahead and just bring my favorite MAC nude, this is in Flesh Pot, and leave it at that. Maybe bring the Besame, but I'm probably not gonna use it. So that's it for the makeup trials. If I'm able to get any film or photos from the day, I'll go ahead and throw them in here. Almost spilled that.
What?
Nothing.
The scooch?
No.
The makeup?
No. Yeah, I almost spilled the scotch. I was trying to get a nice camera shot of the setting sprays, but I didn't spill it. Haha. Good thing we got the flute and not the short boys. So thank you guys for watching. If I planned this right, I believe this video will be going live the same day as my elopement vlog over on my vlog channel. So I'll throw that video up in the cards and link the channel down below as well if you would like to check out the actual process. Thank you guys for watching, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye.